So what is up guys? Today we are going to talk about, should you wait and buy an Apple Silicon Mac? And the answer is yes. Why? Let's find out. So in WWDC 2020, Apple announced that they are transitioning away from Intel to their own custom-made chips which are based on ARM architecture, which would be known as or are known as Apple Silicon. So those who were in the Apple tech community, including myself, we were like kind of not shocked because we all knew that it was coming and one day or the other this would happen. So we were not shocked. But they actually didn't tell us much about their chips, about their performance. So they basically showed us this graph that showed better performance in much less power consumption, and they said that they will provide us with the best industry per watt performance, or the best per watt performance in the whole industry. And they also promised that we will get the first system by the end of 2020. So they also handed out developer transition kit for app developers, so they could adjust their apps to run on ARM architecture. So this developer transition kit, which was present in a Mac Mini enclosure, packed the A12Z Bionic chip, which is packed in the iPad Pro 2020, which is present in the iPad Pro 2020, and it's a pretty powerful chip. This system also included 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, macOS Big Sur Developer Beta plus Xcode, and they also showed us that this same machine was running macOS Big Sur version 11.0, as you guys could see, fine without any issues. They also ran some like moderate power hungry apps like Autodesk Maya. It was running fine. Adobe Photoshop, it was also running fine without any issues. And our favorite and content creators favorite, the one and only Final Cut Pro X, and it was running perfectly. So from now on, this video is divided into three criteria. All these three criteria are for three different kind of people who are going to buy Apple Silicon. So I will give the timestamps in the description, so you could skip the video to the criteria which you are in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So the first criteria is content creators. So if you're a content creator and you only work with or mostly work with Adobe's Creative Suite like Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop, then you will have no issues because Apple has sort of collaborated with Adobe, so they are getting access to all the silicon, so they could adjust their app accordingly to perform well on Apple Silicon and give its peak performance on Apple Silicon. So you will have no issues from day one. All the apps will run smoothly, and yeah, you could buy Apple Silicon from day one. So what if you're working with other third-party apps like DaVinci Resolve, which is a very powerful video editor? So you have got a savior, Rosetta 2, which will like convert the x86 code to a code which could run on ARM-based chips, and there would be no flaws in the performance, absolutely no flaws. It would run as good as it would run on an x86 machine. And I even saw a tweet by a Disney developer who said that x86 apps run better on Apple's developer transition kit. So it has the A12Z Bionic chip, which is based on ARM architecture. So yeah, x86 apps run better on ARM chips. That actually sounds like, it sounds weird. So, and this will also be transparent to users who will not notice this, and I think it perform pretty well. The apps will perform pretty well, and this would make the transition relatively painless. So if you are a content creator, currently you have basically like two options: MacBook Pro 16-inch on the laptop side, and you could spec this machine to like probably 5,000 or $6,000 with the 5600M, the Core i9, 8 terabyte of SSD storage. That is unbelievable, yeah, but still, and with 64 gigabytes of RAM. And on the desktop side, you have got the 27-inch iMac, which was refreshed in September 2020. So it got the new 10th gen Intel chips, new graphics card like the 5700 XT, and you could now increase the storage to up to 8 terabytes. And now even the base models come with an SSD, so no hard drive. So a goodbye to old hard drives. So yeah, you could get this. But what if you have done a lot of chores during this COVID-19 pandemic, or you're working as a part-time waiter in a restaurant which is nearby your house? Then you could get the one and only the legend iMac Pro. So it's not a legendary, but it's a one and only machine, and I personally don't recommend buying this. It's it hasn't got a hardware update since 2017, and it doesn't even deserve the pro title, because if you spec out a 27-inch iMac, it will give it will provide you with better performance compared to this iMac Pro, the base version of this iMac Pro. So, and that fully spec'd out 27-inch iMac would cost you will be like cheaper than this base model iMac Pro. So that's a fun fact, but you definitely get more raw GPU performance, as you will get a faster memory type, which will be HBM2. So yeah, that's it. But what if you're a part-time worker at an Apple store and Tim Cook has approved for giving you extra discount on Mac? Then you could get the one and only the legendary Mac Pro. Sorry guys, I was just kidding. You could get the one and only the legendary Mac Pro, which would cost you about $6,000 without delivery charges included, and specs that are worth it. So, jokes aside, the Mac Pro is a pretty powerful machine. You could definitely get it, but on the other hand, it's too costly. And the base model, like the base specs you'd be getting with a Mac Pro, is not worth it. But if you want to show off your friends that you're a very rich person, you want to burn your money and all that stuff, you could definitely get this. Because like if you want some serious power from this machine, you need to at least spec this out to $12,000, and this thing could also be as expensive as your house probably. It could also get to like $53,000, which to be honest, you could get a BMW at this price. That's all I want to say. So the next criteria is a college student and an employee. So what if you're an employee who wants to use apps like Excel, create innocent spreadsheets, use apps like PowerPoint, create presentations that will help your company grow, and watch Netflix, Amazon Prime on weekends. So the machine you could get now would be the MacBook Air, and I personally don't recommend this machine because at $1,000 you will only get i3 10th gen, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabyte of SSD storage, and yeah, that's all you will get for this price. But you can easily use an app like Excel and PowerPoint, but the thing this machine misses is cooling. And actually, according to me, it doesn't even have a cooling system because the heatsink is not connected to the processor. So how the processor would get cooled? And if the processor will not get cooled, the machine will thermal throttle. You will not get most of the performance. And listen, guys, a powerful chip, in this case it's not even a powerful chip, a chip, but we will take it as a powerful chip. A powerful chip that throttles is not better than a weak chip that doesn't throttles. So that's a lesson, guys. And that's it. I don't have anything else to say about this machine. Please don't buy this machine. So the second option is MacBook Pro 13-inch, and I just want to warn you guys, if you are going to buy MacBook Air because you think it would be smaller than a MacBook Pro 13-inch, it would be lighter, then please don't get it, because please don't get that crappy machine, because they both are of roughly same size. The weight is also roughly the same. So there's no actual point in getting a MacBook Air if you think it would be like more sleek and lighter. No, that's not the case. And this machine packs an i5 8th gen. You guys will tell, man, what are you talking? For $1,300 we get a 3 gen old processor. Yes, it's 3 generations old, but it's still a good processor. You could do 1080p video editing using that processor. The integrated graphics are not that bad. Yes, they are very bad, but you could probably do video editing because of Apple's software optimization. And in this machine you also get a cool touch bar. Yay! You either hate the touch bar or you either like the touch bar. Yeah, but this machine is a lot better than the previous machine, and this machine also doesn't has good cooling. This machine too, the fans kick up and you could easily hear the noise. This is the case in both machines, but yeah, it still has better cooling and you could do a bit of multitasking on that. Whereas in the MacBook Air, if you even want to make like spreadsheets while listening to Spotify or create a presentation while watching a YouTube video, I don't know why a person will do that, but it's your choice. Then probably the machine would like start lagging, and it will like kind of get useless. And another warning, Apple has not officially announced yet. They will officially announce it on 10th of November, but Apple will have event dedicated to like Apple Silicon Max on 17th of November. And these two machines which I have talked about, the MacBook Air 2020 and a MacBook Pro 13-inch 2020, these two machines are rumored to be the first two machines, or either one of them would be the first machine to get Apple Silicon. So if you any of you got, so please don't buy any of these two Macs. We are only weeks away from Apple's event, and if you buy one of those, there could be two reasons: you are extremely impatient, or you just need it. You just need it quickly. Your college is starting and that kind of stuff. So don't buy it. And there is also a chance of the revival of not a beloved one, but like a good MacBook, the MacBook 12-inch, which would probably have the A14X, and the 13-inch MacBook Pro. We don't know which chip it would have, probably M15. But yeah, this would get a heck lot more powerful than that i5 8 gen version. Yeah, but bezels on both of the machines would still stay chunky by today's standard, and don't expect a 14-inch MacBook Pro. So the next criteria is a gamer, but I don't think anybody even games on a Mac. But if you are one of those person who uses boot camp and games on a Mac, your days are over. Sorry. So let's talk about gamers. From day one, gamers would get access to a huge library of iOS and iPadOS games, which would be a major feature for buying Apple Silicon MacBook, because you could also use iOS and iPadOS apps on it. So you would get a awfully huge library of games and apps. You would be able to play games like PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile, Among Us, and Fortnite if it ever is going to come back. So guys, I need to address a thing. So I think we should have a moment of silence for those people who spent more than $100 buying V-Bucks and they only played on their iPhone or iPad and they don't have a Windows machine to game on. So a moment of silence for these guys and hashtag money on fire. So that's enough silence. So what if you want to play Mac compatible games which are made for Intel Macs? So I addressed this thing earlier in this video. You have a savior Rosetta 2. So your games would, like, the code would be transformed to run into your Apple Silicon Macs and it would be transparent to you. So you have no problem and you would get better performance. So if you guys want to know how will these MacBooks run heavy games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider or integrated graphics, except the MacBook Pro 16-inch, about which we don't know much, it could probably get a discrete graphics card. So I've also made a video on that what could be the graphics performance of these Apple Silicon Macs and iMacs. So I will give the link of that video down in the description. So, but what if you were a guy who worked in the morning and then you suddenly became a gamer at night and you used Boot Camp on your MacBook Pro to play games? So your dreams of playing GTA 5 are sadly, or not sadly, so your efforts and dreams are wasted. So there will be no boot camp support for the Apple Silicon Mac, so you will not be able to play games like Fortnite, which I think most people wanted to play on their MacBooks using boot camp. So your dreams are wasted. And the MacBook Pro 16-inch could be like the ideal choice for gamers when it comes out, but the thing is that this machine would come out in like second or third quarter of 2021 according to Ming Chi Kuo, but definitely it would pack much more graphics performance, and I have also told about that in my previous video. The link should be down in the description, so definitely go and check out that video. So this MacBook Pro is going to be great. You will have thinner bezels, the CPU performance would be a lot better, and I also made a video on CPU performance. Oh, but that video is in another language. So if you want the English version of that, you could definitely comment down below. So on the CPU side, this machine could pack roughly or even more performance than, you will not believe my words, R9 3900X. So that would be great. And on the GPU side, it could pack as much power as an 5700 XT with 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is available for a 27-inch iMac. And this graphics card is as powerful as a RTX 2070 Super, which is as powerful as RTX 2080, which is as powerful as a RTX 2080 Super. So you could definitely get an idea of how powerful the graphics performance could be. So so the machine you could wait for in the desktop side would be the 24-inch iMac, which would be great and would have then the size of the bezels would be reduced. It would be great, but it would probably come out in the first or second quarter of 2021. So like 5 to 6 months. If you could wait that long, then it's definitely a good PC or machine for gaming. And this could have like it could pack the power on the CPU side of R9 3950X, which is very powerful, and the graphical performance of a RTX 3070. And the next machine would be a 28-inch iMac, which could pack the power of AMD Ryzen 5950X, which was recently released in this month only, and the graphical power of RTX 3090, which is a $15,000 graphics card. Sorry, not 15,000, $1,500 graphics card. So I don't think it would be in the base variant. I think you need to spec your machine with this, and it would be pretty costly. So that's it for this video. Give this video a like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more awesome videos like this, because I post 2 to 3 videos every week. And comment down below if you want a part 2 of this video, because I'm sorry I was not able to cover some criterias, because if I did so, this video would get like 30 minutes long. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.